you want to say whatever comes to your mind, and you're only going to say 3 words. Okay, so I'm going to say 3 words, and then Casey's going to say 3 words. However, it has to make sense. Cannot just be 3 random words. So you really cannot even anticipate what you're going to say until the very moment the person in front of you, their last word comes out of their mouth. And then boom, just whatever. And because this is improv, the goal of our game is to laugh. So if you make a mistake, we all laugh, and that's the object of our game. Okay. And when it seems like whatever that person said, it's a period, like it's at the end of our sentence, then we're all just going to clap. Like, hey, clap. Good job, good job. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Casey, you ready? Because you ran after me. Off mute. There we go. All right. JT off mute. KW off mute. Here we go. Okay. Today is a
good day because
it's a nice, cloudy,
sunny, hot, muggy.
But I can see the
beautiful weather today.
And I smell
flowers and grass.
bacon and eggs.
Ooh.
But something stinks.
Is that a period, we think? Yeah. Good job. We're going to say that's the end of our funky, weird sentence. Woo! All right, KW, you're up. 3 words.
I wish that
I could change something.
You can what?
I can change something.
In the way.
That I do.
What to say.
Yay! Got it. What I do, what I say. It's all good. It's all right. Yeah, another funky sentence. All right, JT, you up. 3 words, start the sentence.
If I had
$1 million
I would like
to jump and
scream and shout.
Yippee-yi-yay.
is that 1 word or 3 words?
It's worth 3 syllables. Yippee-yi-yay, that might actually be 1 word. Yeah. Okay. Good job. Woo! All right, we're gonna go 1 more crazy sentence. Okay, JT, you're up.
I see that
it's almost time
to start another.
Sentence so that.
Sorry, what did you say?
Sentence so that.
I can go.
Finish my breakfast.
because I'm
Oh my gosh. Awesome, guys.
Oh.
Good job. How was that? How was it? Like having to speak on the spot? Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, what do you mean, Taylor? What is that?
I went with it.
You did. David, you're going to say something. No? What else? How was that? How was that? Was it easy? Was it hard?
Me back to 5th grade. That's when I first learned improv.
In 5th grade?
Yeah.
Where did you go 5th grade?
When?
Where?
Oh, where? Kipapa.
Teacher.
Yeah. I went in 4th grade. We looped together into 5th grade, my entire class.
Cool. Casey, how was that for you?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But it was still tough.
GT, how was that for you?
It was hard not to think, but I think if I keep doing it, it'll be better. It'll be more reflexive.
Mm-hmm. Good, good, good. KW?
It was okay. I was actually trying to think of things that I could feed to the person after me. So it wasn't like just a ending, you know?
In improv, that's called make the other person brilliant. That's a rule in improv. Make the other person brilliant.
Huh.
Short form improv is like whose line is it anywhere on TV? You see that show?
Yes.
Long form improv is literally 2.5 hours. They start with a word and it just goes. And they don't know, they don't have a script, they don't have anything. They have props and that's it. 2 hours, can you imagine? So the whole job is to make the other person brilliant. While we think improv, everyone looks at me because I'm funny, but it's not. It's exactly what you did, KW. It's like, I want to make it easy for them.
Huh.
Mhm. So a lot of times in interviews, if we make it easy for them, then it's a nice conversation versus silence. You know, when you say something and you're done speaking,
Mm-hmm.
it's like this awkward silence. It's kind of like in dating. You want to like keep the conversation going. Yeah. So you just kind of feed them a line or something. David, how was it for you?
It was fun. You got to think. And no, normally I come up with one-liners just with situations, but this one had to think for only 3 words.
Harder, because I know you did stage stuff, yeah? Theater stuff.
Yeah. But we followed script, and I took drama class, but we never had improv kind of
Mm.
work.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I had a topic I wanted to talk about called executive presence. So we can talk about that. And I wanted to make sure that I answered any questions that you may have. Like if you're working through your things or you have your LinkedIn profile or things like that, if you have any questions that you want us to talk about and make sure that we address that during this, please either raise your hand and just blurt it out, say your question, and then I can jump into executive presence. Yeah.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, so I'm going to jump into executive presence, and if boop, a question pops into your head, just put it in chat, and we'll make sure that we address it. Okay. So when I took this class improv in Berkeley, at the Berkeley Improv, I was taught by an improv instructor who believes that we can learn charisma, that we can learn to be more charismatic. And I was intrigued, right? How in the world do you learn to be more charismatic? And so I took his improv class. And really what it ended up being is, when you meet somebody and they're just who they are. They're totally themselves. They're like, as I say, live to the edge of their skin. They are who they are, and they're not ashamed. Yeah, they're so magnetic, aren't they? You're like just drawn to them. Like, how in the world can you just be yourself and say whatever's on your mind and things? And it's that authenticity, maybe, that is, we're just totally drawn to them, magnetically drawn to them. So that is when you think about executive presence or charisma, it's that ability to just totally be yourself and say what's on your mind and have the right intentions, and whatever comes out of your mouth, and you say and speak up at the right moment in a meeting, and not after where you're wondering, just be there and all there. So here are a few things that when I work with folks around executive presence, this is what we work on. One is to speak slowly. When you're speaking, you have a slow speaking cadence. I think we're all slow speakers here. Yeah? I don't know. Because, okay, when you're junior and you're in a meeting with your boss, you're talking super fast because you don't know how long you have in your boss's presence, right? Because you got to get everything. This is what I did, and I did this, and this, and this. So junior people tend to talk really fast because they have to. They have to get everything out that they're doing because all of a sudden the boss go, oh, you know what? I got to go. Poof, gone, right? While the leaders speak slowly because it's their meeting. They can speak slowly, much more intentionally. And oftentimes in an interview, when we're speaking slowly, it gives us more of ability and time to formulate, now what am I going to say? Versus we talking super, super, super fast. Okay, so speak slowly. Anyone feel like they mumble? Mumble, mumble. No? Little bit? Mumble? I learned this from a bunch of actors. So David, maybe this is familiar to you. It's called QER. This is a vocal exercise that actors, radio, all the people who use their voice, stage, theater, to exercise their vocal cords so that they speak more crisply and cleanly, you know, and they don't mumble. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys this vocal exercise, and it looks super weird. Okay, it's QER. It's Q, where you're engaging in your stomach. Q. You almost feel it in the back of your throat. Okay, so everybody try it. Q. Q. And you guys all unmute until you know, like you shake. Okay. And then E is like you're in a dentist's office and they're pulling your gums back. I mean, not your gums, but your lips. E. Now you feel it here. Yeah. E. You feel it in the back of your throat. You cannot do it plenty of times because it hurts. E. Yeah. And then R, like you're about ready to barf. It's almost at the top part of your throat. QER. QER. You do that 5 times in the morning in front of a mirror, and you tell your family, no, I'm okay, don't worry, I'm okay. Yeah. QER 5 times, and you notice for the rest of the day, you will speak crisply. You enunciate your words. Your mumbling goes down. Laura, Pastor Laura, you're going to say something? No? Yeah?
I was just wondering why in front of a mirror? What are you looking for?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess you don't need to in front of them.
Oh, it's just the emphasis? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's to help enunciate. Okay. Another thing that leaders do or executives do, they speak in 3s. Have you ever noticed that? They speak in 3s. That's a good idea. You know what? This is what I think you need to do. There are 3 things off the top of my head. Boom, boom, boom. Or when I was working on this project, I wanted to get this done, and I was focusing on 3 things. Boom, boom, boom. Why is it? What about 3s? Anything else in the world that's a 3?
Mind, body, and spirit.
What else?
Mickey, Goofy, and Donald.
Yeah, Pastor Lori, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. See, think about it. Traffic lights are 3s. Larry, Moe, and Curly. Isn't it weird? Think about it. Anyone do photography? Photography, no, photography a little bit. You know how they make you like grid off, right? In 3s. top third, middle third, bottom third, middle, right third, left third. So you actually have this grid in design to make you roll up 3 little towels, boop, boop, boop. 3 little candles, boop, boop, boop. We love threes. Our brain does. The whole world, like red, yellow, green. So executives speak in threes. So when you're in an interview and they're asking, so what did you do there? Tell me about your role there. Say, oh, I worked on 3 things. Or my approach was in 3 ways. How did I get it done? I focused on these three big goals. It also then stops you from just talking on and on and on, because you're actually only going to talk about 3 things. So it provides some structure. Yeah. 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 Sound good? Another thing for women. There once was this woman that I was helping her. She moved from India and she moved to Seattle, and she was a vice president of human resources. She emailed me, said, I can't even get an interview. Like, what? I look at her background. She led 80,000 employees. She was doing some unbelievable stuff. So I got her on the phone, and this is what I heard. Hi, Cara. My name is Sheena. How are you? I'm not kidding. I hope you can help me. I've never been able to get into an interview. One guess, everyone. Why? Women, our voices. If we have a high voice, right? So this is actually something that when I listen to Casey, try say something.
Okay.
So you don't have a high voice, yeah, naturally high voice.
No.
Yeah, and I don't think KW or JT does either. Lori, Pastor Lori, no, yeah, not really, yeah. Okay,
I
so
don't think so.
no, see, you can tell, no, yeah. KW, try say something. KW,
I'm sorry. I was looking for my mic button.
yeah, nope.
No.
JT, try say something.
Something.
No, yeah, okay, yeah. So we're as women, we're good. It's kind of sad, yeah, but I had to work with her to lower her voice. She had to go 5 days and talk to her family like this every single conversation, so that she got used to what is called muscle memory. She intentionally then could lower her voice. So she went from this to this, and immediately she started to get interviews. Sad, yeah, how we are. She started to get interviews. Yeah. Okay. All right. Another thing, okay, is, okay, wait. There. This is my comfortable spot. My head. You see my head? If I don't have a mirror, this is how my head is. This is like totally comfortable for me. However, if I'm in an interview and I'm talking to somebody like this, right, versus talking to them like this, it's a completely different feeling. Yeah. Another one is if I'm looking, right? You're just looking right at them. So what we need to do is we need to develop a muscle memory of how we're sitting too, because when you're in an interview, you don't have a mirror. So practice like on here, if you can, sit in a chair. So then you feel what this feels like. Anyone took sports? Like played on a sports team? Yeah? What sport do you play?
I did all kinds of sports. The last one I did was bowling.
Bowling is a perfect one. Okay. So when you're bowling and you're learning how to bowl and someone tells you, no, because when you go like that and your hand is like that, right? You want it like that. So then they come behind you and they say, no, move your foot like this and square your body like this, because it's form, much of it. Yeah. Like baseball, soccer, square your hips. I was here in a field, square your hips. So but they don't have a mirror. They just, like if you take ballet and your teacher goes like that, right? You're like, okay, and you're trying to remember how that feels without seeing yourself. So you build a muscle memory so that when you're in an interview, boom, you snap to it. Mhm. I have a good friend, her name is Catherine. She has 3 boys, same ages as my 2 boys, 2 of them. So we would always see each other on the field, soccer, football, basketball, whatever. We're always there in the field together. And every time I see her, I'm like, hey, Catherine, you know, because she's my friend. So she's like, ah, and we sit next to each other, like whatever, during the game. Well, here she comes walking. I'm like, Catherine, and she's all like, I'm like, ooh, what's going on? I didn't notice, but like behind her was her dad. And her dad is like some scientist over at Berkeley. So I guess he's like somebody, right? So she has to be like, so when I saw him, I'm like, oh, hello, Mr. Mac. I snapped into my body. Oh, hello, Mr. McIntyre. How are you? It's been a long time. You know, you can snap into it so that you can control how they see you. You increase your skill of how you can now communicate. You can communicate to different people in different ways. So you're expanding your capacity to communicate. Yeah? Make sense? Make sense? Okay. Awesome. Alrighty. Great question. Is there a voice pitch that works best? Like, what do you mean, Pastor Lori?
There are certain pitches that are pleasing, and there are other pitches when you are communicating that may be naggy, for lack of better. Is there a particular pitch that is best in that? You know, where certain frequencies, yeah, they say are more pleasing.
Mhm.
So I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. It's such a great question. And so it could be a really high pitch,
Mhm.
and it also can be a very nasally pitch.
Mhm.
It could be really low, but very nasally,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what they do in acting school. You breathe in through your nose. And when you speak, you're speaking now where the air is coming out of your mouth and your voice is traveling on the air. Okay, so let's all try that. You take a breath in through your nose, and when you speak, now your voice travels over the air. So we're all gonna say we're speaking and it's traveling on the air. So let's all take a breath in. And we're speaking and my voice is traveling over the air. Okay.
I'm speaking and traveling over the air.
Yeah, say, I'm speaking and my voice is traveling over the air. Versus, I take a breath in. I'm speaking and it's not traveling over the air, right? It's more nasally. It's the mixture of how big our vocal cords are and how much air goes through at the same time. Not traveling over the air, vocal cords really tight. Now it's traveling over the air. People who do voiceovers, they practice to speak like this. Doesn't it sound so much better than like this? Yeah, yeah. So there's a high pitch, and then there's how tight our vocal cords are. But the reverse is someone who's really breathy. Someone who has a lot of breath coming out. That's not, I know it's hard to take someone seriously when you say it. Yes. Yeah. So it's practice. It's knowing what it is for you and how do you have it so that it's where your breath is traveling over the air.
Can I add something for a perfect example?
Yes.
So, if any of you remember Mrs. Doubtfire in the very introduction when Robin Williams is doing the voice acting for all the cartoon characters, and then he gets so upset because it starts to subliminally advertise smoking in it, but he was doing all the characters, the cat, the bird, the mouse, and you could hear all his tones that when he was going super high and then really super low to talk for the tiny little characters, just like that, how it changed pitch tune.
He was brilliant.
Yeah, very brilliant.
Brilliant. Such a command over his voice. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Alrighty. Same when you email or text. Oh, what do you mean by that, Pastor Lori?
Oh no, with the communication. You know how you said that you change posture depending on whom you're speaking to?
Mhm.
Same thing with as you text or as you email, depending on who you're addressing, you would adjust.
Mhm.
And you can kind of tell, like, if somebody is OG, like old school. We have people who text and they'll put the salutation as well as the closing, right, on a text, and they're probably a little bit more old school, and in their text even it's more proper as opposed to, hey, how's it going, and a quick response and short, yeah, as opposed to these long kind of,
Yes.
yeah, just
Yes.
different kinds of etiquette, right?
Yep. You bring up another interesting thing that people are worried about: ageism. Ageism, right? Ageism. It's interesting. I sat down with a group of recruiters and I asked, come on, let's just talk about it. Let's just have a really frank, open conversation. Is there ageism? So what do you guys think? Do you think so? You can click on the reaction below, and if you think there's ageism, do a thumbs up. Oh, how you made your hand different color? Right, isn't like that? Okay, yeah. So this is, yeah. This is what I found out when we just talked frank, nobody listening, no one taking names or anything. These are the top things that recruiters are concerned about if you're older. 1, are you good with computers? They're scared that you cannot do technology. And yet, probably it's a false thing that many of us are very, very tech savvy. Another thing that they're scared about, if you're going to be a grumpy old man, where, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do this. No, I'm not going to do that. Grouchy, grouchy, grouchy. Okay. So that's what they're concerned about. So if you're delightful in who you are, like, no, hey, I'll help. Like David is like the total team player. I mean, I'll help you out. Then that fear is alleviated. Yep. The third fear that they have about people that are older, it's kind of like the grumpy old man when I'm stuck in my way, stuck my own ways. No, that's not how I did it. No, that's not how I want to. So if you come across in an interview and you're like, oh, here, I'm willing to learn, bring it on. It alleviates all the fears of ageism. And this is a challenge with recruiters. They have fears for every age group. New grad, they don't know nothing, right? They're like, they don't know nothing. They want $10 million and they just started. They want my job and they only been here 6 months. So they have their fears about new grads. Then they have fears about people in the middle, your first management job. Can you do it? Can you make? So yes, is there ageism, but it's not quite what we're thinking around discrimination. And every age group, they have concerns. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Phew, that's my shtick for today. So curious to know, should I color my hair before an interview? That's a super important question. David, I don't think so. You look good. I would say no. Yep. I would say no. And also what we wear when we show up, right? So whatever we're wearing, appropriate, clean, pressed, then you're going to be fine. Good question. But me, I got him. Hey, I need to color my hair. Yes, not too strong perfume, please. Mhm. Yep, very good. So there are, hi, Kimmy. There are things that you should never ever talk about in an interview. What are some of those things? Yeah, you can say it or you can put it in chat.
Politics.
Ooh.
Politics, religion, and that's basically the main ones.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're going for a unless you're going for a job
Yeah.
at a church, then it's totally appropriate.
Or if they bring it up,
What do you do when they bring it up?
I say yes. Say yes to Jesus.
I went in for an interview. I was in Tennessee, and I went for an interview at a company called Brentwood Music. Okay, and it was a music company in Nashville. So cool. They needed an HR department, so I set it up for them. And here I am in a meeting. All the directors, executives, all in this long table, and I'm at the end. I'm the only one that looks like me in that room. And the president of the company goes, "So, what church do you go to?" Now, Nashville is the buckle in the Bible Belt. Now, I had a decision to make then, right? Because that's not quite an appropriate question to ask in a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brentwood Music is a music company. So I said, is this a trick question? Because I should know this in HR, right? Is this a trick question? And he goes, no, I really want to know. And then I had to decide, am I just going to say yes or whatever? Am I going to say I'm not going to say or share, or I'm just going to say? So I told him what church I went to. And then he said, oh, too bad you're not a Nazarene. My son, he's looking for a woman to date. I'm like, this is so appropriate. Totally not appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
You got to decide then, how you take this. Yeah. So what else? What else should we not talk about in an interview?
Problems.
Like, what do you mean, Kimmy?
Like family stuff, and
Personal issues.
I don't have a car, but I'm buying one. No.
I don't know who can get here, but I would put that in a category of, I'm really not sure how to answer this question if they ask me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we never talk bad about our former employers. Never, ever. We never say a negative thing about any person we worked with or work with, ever. Which then sometimes leaves very little to talk about of where you've worked before. Just kidding. So, because they're going to go, if he talk about them, what they're going to say about me.
Right.
Yeah. So we never talk bad. And it becomes hard because then it goes into the category of how do I answer this question? Why are you looking to leave? What's the number one reason why people leave their jobs?
A lot of inside drama. Like everybody's at each other's neck.
Can be micromanagement. You're under the microscope for everything you do, and everything is followed. Black or white. You just follow this. There's no thinking on you. You just gotta do.
The number one reason why people leave their jobs is the environment that they're working in now, and typically it's their boss. Yeah. So we need to be very careful in sharing what our answers are, because we cannot talk bad, should not talk bad about our boss. Yeah. And in those instances, what I recommend is what I do is I work with someone to come up with an answer that's true, but doesn't talk bad about someone. Because we can tell when someone is not quite saying the truth, like there's something's there. They're saying an answer and you're like, ooh, something happened. Yeah. So we do need to share what is true and yet make sure we're not talking bad about someone. Yeah. What else? What else do we want to stay away from?
Just gossip in general.
Mm-hmm. No gossiping. No gossiping. We want to be careful what we're saying, that words that used to be okay to say is now derogatory.
Mm.
Words change, the meanings change. Yeah. So we want to make sure if we're referring to a people group, that the term that we're using isn't one that now is considered not so good to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any questions there?
Kara, I actually have a question about the previous topic. What if Hawaii, it's such a small rock,
Yeah.
and you know so many people, and people, I mean, it's difficult sometimes when you walk into an interview or you're applying and people know you. So
Yeah.
I've encountered where I would walk into an interview and I knew the people there, and then they would start asking personal questions. But trying to keep that balance between being local and talking story and keeping that professionalism, and knowing that sometimes they actually already know why you're leaving. So how do you balance that type of situation?
Yeah. I would say be prepared to be asked. So make a list of questions that you're concerned about, and that would be one. And if it was just you and I on this call, I would ask you, tell me why. Tell me why you're leaving. I would want to know the story, because in the middle of there is something that you can talk about that doesn't then step on the wrong places. It's not a landmine.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, go.
Um, to add to that as well for professionalism. So you know how people carry themselves in demeanor, and especially in Hawaii, how we speak all moke like that. Perfect example, when I used to work for Windows Hawaii, I have a brother that works there and his cousin, and we were at this one job site. My brother always speaks professionally, well-mannered. His cousin, he just all full pigeon, just like that, and cannot break it sometimes. And we were both talking to the homeowner, and sometimes the homeowner would tip us. My brother got $100 bill while his cousin got a $50 bill, all because of talking pigeon versus talking regular.
Aw.
So there, I mean, like, especially because it's Hawaii, there's some people that carry that vocabulary, how we pronunciate everything, to consider it as professionalism as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point as far as being increasing our capacity to communicate with different people. Yeah, increasing our capacity. Yeah, and some people ask, "Were you trying to change me, Cara?" And I'm like, "No, we're increasing our skill. We're expanding our skills so we can have conversations with all different types of people." Yeah.
So in a sense, basically, we're trying to be more diverse in every single manner.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because in an interview, what will get us an offer is connection. When we connect with people, they already know we can do the job because they read our resume. They know you have the skill. They now just want to see, they want to meet you, and it's that connection. And the more we're able to be connected, the higher chances that we'll get an offer. Yeah, by being yourself, magnetically yourself, and increasing your capacity to have conversations with all kinds of people. Yeah. So my call immediately after this is always with someone. He's like, "Oh, were you talking to your Hawaii friends again? Because I talk like this." And I have to transition to, "Oh, yes, okay," because it's like, I don't know. And if he goes, "Oh, talk to me like that," I'm like, I cannot turn it on. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, you guys know how it is.
Yeah, because for funny thing was when I went back to Montana, you know how we always talk like this, yeah, you know, with the yeah part at the end. I would say that to my friend, and he's like, "Oh, I see you still didn't break that language yet." I was like, "Okay, I could turn it off now."
Right. Or you have such an interesting accent. I have an accent when I was in Nashville, Tennessee. Wait. I have an accent. Do you want to lay it with your? I'm like, I'm the one with the accent. Okay, if you think I'm the one with the accent, I'll have the accent. But yeah, we have like this particular cadence. It's very melodic, I've been told.
To add to that, one of my really good friends that I grew up in church with, he came from Texas. So he has that small kind southern accent, but he's able to tell, like, because there's even specific certain states that have a different southern accent and a northern accent, and he was able to nail it on the spot. I was like, oh geez, you listen to a lot of people, man.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So, all right. GT, doesn't Kimmy look like somebody we know? Kimmy,
What?
doesn't Kimmy remind you of someone kind of like we know?
Kind of like.
A little bit. Maybe not. Maybe just me. Okay. Okay. First time I saw Kimmy, I'm like, eh. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Anything else? Anything else to add? Okay. So next week, Pastor Lori and I had talked about going one more month.
Oh.
Yeah. And so next week, we're going to talk about the compensation question. What do you say for compensation? And then how do you negotiate? Because when you get an offer with a reaction of thumbs up, how many of you always negotiate? Good job, Kimmy. Yes.
Oh, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Very good. We're going to talk about how do you negotiate in a way where you honor yourself and you don't feel weird like you have to negotiate. Yeah. How do you ask in a way that doesn't kill the deal? I call it how to get a killer offer without killing the deal. Right. So that's going to be next week.